the waitress.
Regular meeting of the Swansea Board of Selectmen today, May 4th, is called to order.
Make a motion, we can approve the regular meeting minutes of April 27th.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye. Motion to approve the non-public meeting minutes of number 1 and
Number
number
1.
2 of April 27th.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion to approve the unsealing of non-public meeting minutes as listed.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye. Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Any discussion?
I added on additional gravel excavation yield tax, so still wasn't noted.
Anything else? All in favor?
Aye.
Public input. Hi,
I
Jane.
came primarily to ask if it's okay with the selectmen, since the town does own the building, if it's all right if I have Mary Shepherdson's class help me and we plant sunflower seeds at the Grange property. I was thinking on the northwest corner up towards where the road branches off to the left in the cemetery, but before the cemetery, because when I noticed the other day from town hall, that's a sunny spot.
Oh, it is.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
That's where the sun was shining in the afternoon. So I thought that would be a probable spot. So if you are okay with me doing that, I will have Mary will arrange for her class to come over with me someday soon. And we will do that. It also it drains downward from there.
Right.
And I thought that would be good too, to have plants in them, if we have a wet summer.
Probably just check with Angel.
Huh?
She's going to be mowing over there, right? So just want to make sure it's not mowed over.
Well, that's another thing. It'll be off to the edge. I'm used to that. Oh, no, you can't plant it in the front yard because I don't want to mow around. So put it off in the corner. And then while I'm at it, yesterday for the first
Do
time.
you want a decision on that?
Yeah, I thought I saw you all nod.
Oh,
Do you do more than that?
vision can be deceiving. Yeah.
They do more than nodding, or do they just?
Just need consensus.
Is that okay?
All right. On to number 2. You got it.
Okay, I've got a lot of flowers. And that is the Ukrainian national flower too. So I thought it might just be an attention getter when people are going by or going in and out, or at the town hall, if they see sunflowers over there and say, you know what that's all about.
Sure.
Then another thing I would like to say while I'm here is the Grange building. Is anything going to get started over there? Twice it's been on the ballot, twice the article passed. And I don't see much going on. And then Joe Smith had sent out a notice yesterday saying that the same thing. We need to determine what it could be used for. Well, get it there, build a field and they will come, or what is it they say? I think you'll find that it'll be well used if we can get it stabilized where people can start using it, and then we can move on by getting ADA compliancy and restrooms and things. But why is it we can't decide that it can be useful? I've been reading this again the second time, and in there it talks about things that have been happening in Peterborough. And they have preserved old buildings and they use them for community spaces, office space. You could have like a couple of rooms in there that are condo offices that people could go in and use the computer and the printer, if they want to support that and pay. And they do that in Dublin at the house that they have preserved across from their town hall, I think, next door to the church. And I think Swansea could support that too. I think people would be supportive if things looked like there was some action. So I would like to hear from you that you would sign for grants to be worked on, because that was, Joe seemed to think that we can't do any grant work until we get the approval of the town board, the select board. And I don't think that's altogether true, because I think as Swansea Preservation Society, being a 501c3, or is it 3C3?
C3.
Whatever, they are a nonprofit, and I think they got an LCHIP grant with your help, didn't they? And that paid for the architect study?
Oh, yeah, there was a loose plate, I think.
So if you don't feel ready to do that, would you give a nod of approval to SPS starting some work on grants for some of this work?
I don't think the select board has been ever opposed to applying for grants, but just for background, Joe did reach out to me yesterday or Monday about getting on an it must have been yesterday, because otherwise I would put him on for tonight, about coming to an upcoming select board to talk about kind of the next phase. So he'll be on the agenda for the May, I think it's 16th, 18th, next meeting, in 2 weeks. So that would be a good time to continue this discussion, I think.
Okay, I'll be finished with the book in a minute.
Give us the highlights.
I had surgery today, so you have to bear with me.
Thanks for coming, Jane. So we'll see you on the 18th.
The 18th.
Our next
Oh,
meeting.
that's when Joe's coming?
Yes.
Oh, okay. You'll see me too. I want to hear what Alice says.
Great. New business. No, I'm only kidding. Wait a minute, Alice. Welcome.
Totally new business. but-
So I'll kind of take the lead here. So we've pretty much, with legal and everyone else got the lease hammered out. Happy to show it to you if you'd like to go through the 10 pages of who's gonna deal with the trash and the phones and that sort of stuff. Pretty boilerplate stuff. So I think what you're mostly interested in from our discussion last week is a little bit more on the financials. So we kind of reworked a little bit. To try to start off with at least some money coming in. It's a nominal token amount, but it's better than free. And then working to progressively build up to that total amount that we have as a goal to cover all the expenses for the property. We can revisit that. This is one set up as a 1-year lease. So we can certainly revisit it at the end of the year. We'd be looking at bringing in by next May about $7,300. So decent chunk of the operating expenses. Be like 2,300 by the end of this calendar year, and then 7,300 by the close of the 1-year lease.
What are our annual expenses?
So I printed the budget because I think they're somewhat deceiving, but so the big chunk that I think maybe we want to talk about long-term, if we want to continue to do this, is we've broken out a day of one of the maintenance person's staff hours a week into this budget. When it was the Carpenter home, we've kind of carried that through. So that's 8,500. But beyond that, electricity, 6,600, heat's budgeted 8,000. I can let you have this copy. Insurance we have is just a percentage of like 2,500. The alarm maintenance is 1,000, and then phones and internet is about 2,000.
So is it roughly 25?
I think that's a better number if we decide we don't want to do the continue to break out the day of the person. Maybe we do, but I think,
Are we maintaining it?
well, it's like plowing, mowing, it's kind of that sort of stuff.
But we're doing it.
Yes,
So you would keep it in.
yeah,
So basically it's 25,000. So in year, if everything held, which it won't, but if it did, in year 25, we'd break even roughly.
yes. Yes, year 25, yeah, not the fifth year of the lease, yes,
So what's the lease now? It's 1 year.
yes.
Are you comfortable with your books being reviewed from the standpoint that one of the benefits is, of course, at this point, it's a vacant building, so the costs are the costs and the town is absorbing them. And with you taking over, some of those costs will increase, some will stay where they are. And until potentially 25, those costs will not be covered. And even in 25, they probably, with inflation, normal inflation, they won't be covered. So what I'm interested in knowing, so that this doesn't become a town subsidy for an extended period of time, without if the voters want it, that's different. But at this point, the voters haven't weighed in.
Yeah.
So it might be helpful for us if our town administrator could review the books and determine with you whether some additional rent could be applied in 24 and 25. By that point, you would have had a full year and a half to really get up to speed, kind of determine if it's working
Are you talking about like currently, like what I have, or as we go?
as you move forward. So you'll be coming into May, June of next year, where you'd be renewing your lease. And we'd want to make sure that your business is vibrant and sustainable. So that'd be my only thought, because we certainly don't want to charge you the rent that the market would demand, because you're not gonna make it. And yet you're providing a service for the town that does comply with the broader aspect of the desire of Lucy Carpenter. So.
Yeah, I definitely, and I'm looking into actually hiring my own bookkeeper anyway. I use Rustin Company as my accountant. And it was definitely recommended that I move forward with a bookkeeping service anyway. So yeah, I would be happy to.
And if she does end up filing as a 501c3, all that'll be
Have to.
public anyway.
Yeah, it will be available for anybody.
So is that all coming from the operating budget now? Or is it?
So as of, we're planning on June 1 as an effective date, both for the lease and the purchase of the property. So it'll be funded through the trust fund up to June 1st, and then yes, it'll be an operating fund expense.
After June 1st, is there a way to use some of the interest because of the benefit of this for the youth or the needy?
I think basically the simple version of the side fray is that the money is being separated from the building. The money will now be used to further the purpose, and the building is just another town building. So I would
So we
say,
could maybe tuition some children there with the
yeah, possibly,
interest from the fund.
possibly.
Okay.
What do you need from us?
A motion to authorize me to enter into a 1-year lease.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good
Give her the
luck.
keys.
Yeah.
I'll email you the final copy tomorrow.
Guys, I might cry again.
Well, you've certainly been very diligent about putting this together. Congratulations.
Trying. Thank you guys.
Well,
so
thank
much.
you.
I definitely appreciate it.
Well, we
So
appreciate what
does
you're
Don't forget
doing.
your jacket.
Oh, yeah, I need this. Rain. Thank you.
Have a good
Good
night.
luck.
Enjoy the rest of the meeting.
Thanks, Alice. Thanks for coming, Jane. Recreational facilities ordinance.
So this is just a draft. I'm pretty confident I haven't a chance to get a final answer, but I'm pretty sure we need to hold a public hearing before we would adopt it. But I wanted to give you an opportunity to review it, and I've sent it to the police department to review as well, so they can give us some input. But basically came up due to 2 issues. One is a couple vandalism issues over at Brownfield. And the second
Is that recent?
Yeah, it was a month and a half ago.
What type of,
They broke into the scorer's room, did some damage to the dugout, nothing too horrible, but that the police kind of monitoring it a little more diligently. They set up a game camera. I don't know how, I haven't heard back how successful that was. But- So in response to that, and then Sergeant LaBelle brought to my attention, they've had a few different people that just kind of parking, say overnight or late at night, different, the parks and different spots. And if there's no ordinance, he can kind of suggest that they move along, but doesn't really have any teeth to it. So those are kind of the two.
So that's why you had the closing opening hours
Exactly.
across the board.
So
So
the fines are in line with what other ordinances are.
yes, yep. So just an opportunity for input at this point. Like I said, I'm pretty sure we have to have a public hearing, so I'll confirm that and get it noticed, and we'll hold that. It's kind of a first look.
Ken, any questions?
No,
Sly? Motion.
Nope,
We're just gonna move forward.
just information.
With the public hearing.
Yes.
Job description review,
Nope, I'm sorry, there's no motion necessary.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
seasonal recreation facilities maintenance worker.
So that's also brownfield related to kind of be the support when we're opening the field for the season especially, but also helping Ashley with lining and, getting ready for rentals and different activities down there. So to give her kind of a backup person, and so it doesn't always fall on DPW. I think she has a couple of prospects for that too. It's just gonna be a few hours a week most weeks. It's gonna be funded out of the income of the brownfield is bringing in.
Make the motion to approve seasonal recreational facilities maintenance worker job description as proposed.
second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
One other new business stuck in there, but didn't make it on the agenda, the annual adoption of the investment policy. No content changes, just the order and I don't know if we adopted it. Yes, please.
Make the motion to approve the investment policy that we just signed.
Investment policy,
Yeah,
All in favor?
once it every year.
is this for the trustees?
It's for the treasurer.
For the what?
Treasurer.
Oh, for the treasurer, okay.
Anything else with personnel policy? Personnel policy?
Yes, that's next.
Yeah.
I think these were mainly trying to, again, simplify. There's a lot of stuff getting slashed out, but also trying to, it's kind of consistent with what we talked about, trying to make things a little more consistent, a little less confusing. So I didn't have any major items that I definitely wanted to, just one worth noting. So the law indicates for overtime that you have to, the town or any employer has to pay overtime for over 40 hours worked. So by law, if someone takes a vacation day and then works 44 hours, those 4 hours aren't necessarily overtime because they didn't work 44. Our policy has been, I think all time used basically would go towards overtime. So if you took the week off and then you work Saturday, you get 8 hours of overtime. I don't think it's a huge issue, and if we get a lot of pushback, it's something we could just leave alone, but I'm proposing we follow the law and just go by the 40 hours worked.
I think most places do.
Got the nod of the head.
All right, go for it then.
And the only other thing I saw was the part-time workers compensation, as far as they could buy in at 100% of the insurance.
Yeah, I don't know how,
Is that anything we could tweak a little bit so that if we get the right person, maybe they need, they want to do a 50-50, like 50% of their insurance and then 50% compensation, or just pay them the whole thing and then they pay the 100%.
yeah, we can always have, special circumstances that come up.
I think some people work at Home Depot just for the benefits.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I'm sort of getting at, is by putting it in there, then it, I think, would start that
We could do
conversation.
something.
Yeah. Because right now, I don't think they're
Allowed.
even able to buy in, so kind of gets to opening that door a little bit as we, we
And
found
that'd be
success.
okay with health trust. I mean, that's allowed through them.
Yep. The only thing you have to watch out on is for the part-timers is to make sure whatever their wages are covering their deductions, otherwise it can get a little, their portion, again, so if they're doing 100%, but they only work 4 hours a week at the recycling
Right.
center, it gets problematic, but in your example, I don't think that would probably be a problem.
And you looking for anything?
No, just if you have any questions or
No?
Yeah,
You're
Just
making progress.
an attaboy.
That's right. You're getting
a
there.
couple more chapters coming next meeting.
I love the way you delete stuff.
Trying.
Ambulance service update, contract update.
So not a lot of progress to report, but I did follow up with city manager and she confirmed that the city of Keene plans to continue to maintain their backup relationship with Deluzio. So that was good news, as we talked about. I haven't broached it with Rob yet, but I don't think he'd have a problem having that like an addendum to our agreement. And then Rob is currently on vacation, so I think he'll be back next week. So by your next meeting, I should be able to report back on the contract discussions.
Next.
I just have a non-public for hiring. That's the only other item I have.
Motion we go in under B.
Second.
Colby,
Aye.
Walker, Karazinski.
I